Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session, which is another one of the webinar series by IncoClub, in which we are discussing technology and internal communications. My name is Alexandra Vojevoda. I am internal communications consultant at QB.com, and I will be your host for today. In today's webinar, we'll discuss the usage of chatbots in internal communications, which I think is quite an exciting and emerging topic, which hasn't been discussed much in the internal comms world yet. We have two gentlemen as speakers for today. We have Wojciech Lohy, who is a co-founder and CEO at VDU, which is a Czech tech company specialized in AI-driven bot ecosystem for enterprises. Hello, Wojciech.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks. And we also have Michelangelo Ischia, who is a communications manager at Deutsche Telekom, who has been overseeing the process of deploying chatbot for internal communications at his organization, and he will share his hands-on experience in this area. Hey, Michelangelo.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us. So before we start, just a few notes. So the session is being recorded and it will be shared afterwards on the IncoClub YouTube channel. So you'll be able to access it and come back to it if you wish. I also very much encourage you to share your reflections, comments, and above all questions. You can do it either via chat box. We'll keep an eye on them, and feel free to share your questions throughout the session, and we'll do our best to address them as we go. You can also unmute yourself to ask a question. Just before that, please use the raise a hand option, and we'll be happy to let you speak, but this way this will enable us to keep the conversation on track. And the very last thing, if you have any technical issues, please just drop a note in the chat box. We have Diana and Susanna from IncoClub helping us in the background, and they're there for you, ready to help at any time. Otherwise, I think this is it. So let's start. Okay, I am quite sure that each of us has some understanding of what a chatbot is, and perhaps some of us already interacted with a chatbot at least once. But to make sure we have the same thing in mind, Wojciech, could you perhaps shed some light on what exactly we mean by a chatbot, how they work, and could you explain us a bit the possibilities?
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, there are multiple definitions, but from the user point of view, chatbot is a virtual assistant that can actually give you an instant help, or can give you information that you are looking for anytime you want, 24/7, and no matter whether I need something during or beyond standard working hours. So this is the definition that I like from the user point of view. From the technical point of view, the chatbot is just a piece of software that simulates human conversation through text messages. In this case, we are talking about chatbots, or through voice commands, and in this case, we are talking about voice assistants or voice bots in short. So this is the definition of what the chatbot or voice bot is in a simple way.
Okay, I think this is quite clear. So could you tell us a bit about, what's happening in the background? So how they work and what are the use cases?
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, the chatbots or voice bots uses buttons or conversational artificial intelligence. In this case, we are talking about natural language processing and understanding. And it's about to really understand what the user wants. And after that, what is the user intention? And after that, provide him or her with information, or with something that he or she is looking for. They can run on multiple channels. The chatbots can be placed on a website. It can be part of your mobile app. But in most cases, they can run on social media networks and instant messaging apps like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber. It can be part of, for example, Slack or Microsoft Teams for internal oriented processes and agenda. So this is how the chatbot is working. And then now I would like to share with you a few screens and tell you a story about where HR virtual assistants can actually help you. Because in this case, it's better to see it than just listen. Okay. So I just need confirmation from Ola that you can see the first slide, omnichannel HR bot experience.
We can see it.
Yes.
Wonderful. So the story is that that I have prepared for this webinar is that suppose I'm a candidate and I'm spending my time on social media networks like Facebook, LinkedIn, scrolling down, or I'm searching for some particular information in a Google search, and suddenly the job ad pops up and telling me that that this particular company is looking for new employees. I can click on the ad link, and I can be redirected to a Facebook Messenger where the chatbot can be placed and can tell me more about this position, more about the company, and about values and corporate culture, and tell me what benefits this company can provide me with, and can pre-select me, find out more about education experience, about working experience, about my language skills, and so on. This is pretty known solution. At Feedu, we have developed and launched the first recruitment chatbot back in 2017. So it's pretty known solution. But as part of this story, in this case, if I click on the job ad on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Google, I'll be redirected to a career website or to a job portal on startup jobs, JobsCZ, JobsPL, Press3PL, it doesn't matter. And I will apply for this job through the web form. Immediately or after some time, the recruitment voice bot gives me a call. It will validate my interest about this job, can finish the initial screening, finding out more information about me, and can help me about setting up the interview date. Once I enter this new company, the onboarding chatbot can help me with smooth onboarding and adaptation. And whenever I have a question, I can use help desk or service desk chatbot to help me with a query that I have. So that's the story we usually implement with our clients within HR. And let's speak more in detail about these three solutions. The first solution that I mentioned was Recruitment Voicebook. As I said, the voicebot is actually proactively contacting me based on the information that I have just applied for this particular job position. It can validate my interest in this position and can find out more information, as I said, about my education, about my work experience, about my language skills, computer skills, etc. And then also, it's a great benefit. Can also schedule a meeting and put this information into my calendar as well as to the calendar of the HR manager that I'm going to meet in person. After that, the voice bot can send me the summary via email or via SMS or via WhatsApp or Viber notification. And then I'm going to show you this solution example in real time after the minute. The second solution that I have mentioned and we are very often implementing for our clients is onboarding chatbot, who is actually guiding me through the company, can explain more about onboarding process, tell me about more about the company, culture, values, vision, and so on, and can also give me more information about common operating agenda like how does the kitchen work, and where I can park my car, and so on. And for example, our client Skoda is actually using our technology for pre-onboarding. They are using smartphones and interactive touchscreens that you may know from McDonald's and KFCs and these kind of companies. And this pre-onboarding solution is about how to effectively get information from newcomers. So every newcomer is actually providing more information about herself or himself, like personal information, contact details, also scans of ID, of passport, different licenses and certificates. The virtual assistant can gather all this information from the comfort of your homes, so you don't have to go anywhere, and store all these data within the ATS system. In this case, they use SuccessFactors. And the virtual assistant is actually giving newcomers already pre-filled employment contracts that are ready to be signed electronically. So this is the case of using chatbots in pre-onboarding and onboarding. After that, you can use chatbots for internal HR support. I'm just showing you a short video. We are using the digital wallet cards so that anyone can easily download it into the cell phone without the possibility or the necessity to download mobile app. And after the validation, like my name and my employee ID, the chatbot can answer the same questions that are just repeating all over again, like how many days left from my paid holidays, and giving me the possibility to take some time off. It can be part of the Microsoft Teams or Slack platform or your internal portal too. Then telling me more information about the shifts. Do I have a day or afternoon or night shift? I'm here for 3 months. Do I get any additional benefits? So for the benefits enrollment, it's a lovely solution too. Moving to the last slide. Here we go. As I said in the first slide, there can be also the service desk solution, solving the IT-oriented questions like I forgot my CRM password, Wi-Fi is not working, printer does not work, how to connect to VPN. So it can cover the HR as well as IT queries too. So these are the 3 areas in HR where virtual assistant, chatbots, and voice bots are making sense and are very, very useful. And now it's time to show you something in the real time. So I will try to share my phone screen with you. Please give me a minute. There we go.
Of course, in the meantime, I can just say that we got a question in the chat box about how many man hours of HR work does this solution help to save per one candidate. So do you have any data on this perhaps?
Yeah, we do have it. It always depends, like what is the scale. If it is, if the chatbot is for example, one position, production operators, warehouse workers, or forklift drivers, or oriented more on sales positions or IT positions. So it really depends on the scope. But the minimum range is about 30% of the HR manager time that this solution can actually save, and giving you more time for more meaningful HR activities, like really paying attention on your employees or on the interview process, rather than gathering initial information from candidates and dealing with the date for interview and so on. Okay, so
I also would have actually a question, if I may, regarding the first solution you showed. for setting up the appointment and verifying basically skills, work experience, and so on. Does that solution also takes like a first decision on the candidate, or everybody gets an appointment? Yeah, I'm mostly going in direction like how are you able to avoid biases? You know, usually with AI there is not this human judgment, and my question goes in that direction. Yeah, how does it work, and how the solution actually works?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a great question. It's always depends how the conversational flow is designed, like, and what are the criteria for the candidate in order to move to the next level. Like, suppose I'm looking for production operators, and the only thing that I need is I don't care about education and about work experience. The only intention is if this candidate can work on 2-3 round shifts, and that's okay. And if I gather this information, the candidate can then move to the next round, and we can schedule a meeting. If we are dealing with more specific positions like sales managers, ITs, I have to go deeper, and I have to again collect more information, and according to this information, I can decide whether this candidate is valid for this position or not. And if not, I can suggest another position that are in the line with his or her education level, working experiences, and so on. So it's just a matter of the logic that is designed behind the solution. Okay, Ola, can you see my phone screen?
So we can see that.
Wonderful. So I have for you two chatbot or one chatbot example and one voicebot example. I will show you our onboarding solution that we have in Feedu. It's running within our internal system and within the secure website. Hello, Vojta. Welcome to Feedu. This chatbot is already one of the 200 of his virtual colleagues that we have sent to the online world, and now he is here to help you with the first steps in Feedu. I will walk you through everything you need to know. Shall we begin? Let's do it, or remind me later, and I will go for let's do it. And at Feedu, we have multiple categories that every new employee has to go through. One is onboarding process. The second was about our culture and values, and about our corporate culture, and about our history, how it all began. For this example, I can go, for example, through the onboarding process, and there are some formalities that every new employee has to go through. You are talking to me means you have got the first steps done, signed contract, NDA, and GDPR consent. Is that right? Sure, it's done. Great start. You should also have completed the initial e-learning trainings, occupational safety and health, fire safety, and driver training. Have you? Yes. Yep. It's done. Awesome. And have you got the keys to the building and the office? No, not yet. I'm not even surprised. We often forget about this step. I'm sending email notification to my supervisor Clara right now, so she knows what is missing. Okay, let's move on to the next section. And you see that I'm actually guiding the employees through the process. It's already predefined, and we are using buttons and other components. And so that's the solution that we are using. It's quite complex. So I now say, can you get back to me later? Sure thing. Come back when you are ready. So this is the solution that we use, and it's also very beneficial for not only big companies, but for medium-sized businesses as well. So this is the onboarding solution. And now I would like to show you the recruitment voicebot that our story that I explained started with this. Let's see.
Hello, Vojta. I'm a virtual assistant, Clara, and I call you with regards to your interest in CEO position at CDO. Thank you for your interest. Due to the current pandemic situation, we would like to meet via video call. When are you available?
Hold on, I have to check my calendar and tell you when I'm available.
It's okay. Take your time.
I'm back. I'm free to talk to you tomorrow at 2 p.m. or this Friday at 10 a.m.
Wait a second, please. I'll check we are available at that time.
Okay.
Friday at 10 a.m. seems fine. Can I confirm the meeting?
Wonderful, perfect.
Great. I'll send you the invitation to your email address. Thank you. We are looking forward to meet you. Have a nice day, Vojta. Bye.
Have a nice day too. Bye. So that's all from my part in the very beginning. I really wanted to show you something what is functional and what the companies are already using. And you might see that the voicebot is working, and the voice is quite okay. We can mix, we can have different voices, man, female, and so on. And for this repetitive processes and repetitive communications, the chatbots and voicebots are very beneficial. So back to you, Ola. Thank you for your time in the beginning.
Yeah, thank you very much for this demonstration. I think it's really impressive, and by the comments I see in that chatbot in the chat box, by them it seems that our audience thinks the same. So thanks again, and perhaps let's focus on chatbots in internal communications. So, Michelangelo, I know that you've been deploying a chatbot for your organization. Could you tell us how it works and what internal communication processes and what kind of communication did you address? And what's the scope of the chatbot you use?
Sure. Well, first of all, I also want to join the congratulations to Wojtek. I think that's really cool solutions, especially the recruiting one. And yes, what we have basically done is what goes from onboarding on. So it is involving the help desk support. And when it comes to our scope, we have tried to keep the most common use cases, probably like IT, HR. But at the same time, we have also tried to cover plenty of compliance and data privacy topics that was quite a burning topic, I would say, in the last years. And of course, then we are covering also other back office areas, communication as well, and office management, and so on. When it comes to like processes, yeah, definitely our chatbot is there to automate what are most frequently asked questions, and basically bringing efficiency there. But what we then, this was the beginning, right? When we said, okay, let's have this FAQ chatbot. But our idea is to build on top of it what we call services. Yeah, so every year we try to address solutions to problems that we see around. So, for example, we noticed that apart from question answers, in our company there was a certain problem when it was coming to booking events. Yeah, we had different platforms where events were listed, and was not clear, you know, for example, for employees, like where to book it and also how to book it. And there were a lot of manual steps, yeah, that the user had to do. So we added, for example, a booking system to our chatbot. Yeah, and therefore with a couple of clicks, the user can, yeah, basically reserve a slot, I don't know, in a company training or in a yoga session or stretching session, basically any company event, and will automatically receive the invite to Outlook. Yeah, so this was also the first service that we had in mind and we completed last year. I can maybe say a few words about what we have in mind for this year. And we know that that's a similar case when you have like intranets or SharePoints, shared drives. You have many files, forms, which are basically spread all over multiple platforms. And we have realized, okay, that's quite frustrating for colleagues to, yeah, find stuff. So yeah, basically we are working on creating an automatic filling in forms, meaning I don't have to search for a form like, I don't know, an application for a benefits anymore, but I can have a conversation with the chatbot. He will pack the data and send it to HR, for example. Yeah. Or we're also thinking something like that for delivering files. And imagine somebody's looking for, I don't know, our company presentation. He can get it via email in, yeah, 2 clicks basically. Yeah. And on top of it, we are also adding like a recommendation system for learning offers. So these are the 3 main developments that we have in mind for this year. So getting back to the scope, yeah, I think you can start with FAQ chatbots, but you can build on top many other use cases, and that I think add even more value than simply like answering questions. Yeah, that's regarding my first point. And yeah, you have another question or?
Yeah, well, actually, we have another question in the chat box, and I was actually about to ask about pretty much the same thing, which is maintenance of a chatbot. So we have a question from Christina. Is it difficult to add new answers to the chatbot? For example, now with constantly changing rules about health and safety, is super user able to change the correct answers easily, or the provider needs to be contacted? So how does it work? How to ensure that the information is up to date and that the employee that asks the question gets the right information?
I can answer for our case, but I think that's also a question for Wojtek, because we are basically not having a chatbot through a third party. Yeah? So I have direct access to the engine of the chatbot, meaning I can maintain it, or a colleague of mine can do the maintenance and changing the answers anytime. Yeah. So that doesn't really imply much time. Yeah. And maintenance, yes, it takes some time, but it also like to think when internally you are communicating a new topic, a new project that is coming up, maybe you always have to think, okay, that's whenever you're communicating something new and you know that the chatbot doesn't know about that topic, you know, okay, maybe the user may ask something about that, because what is also like quite funny that maybe we are placing all the informations in the email that we send out, and basically the users would need enough to read the email. Yeah, but there are still users that ask the chatbot. Yeah, even though all the informations are placed in an email. So yeah, it's important to keep it updated, but it's definitely not that time consuming. Yeah, we usually run reports 2 or 3 times a day to see, okay, this is the performance, there is something to be changed. But I would also address this question to Wojtek, as there is a third party there. As I said, I have directly access to the engine, so it's quite easier, but I'm also curious in that particular case how it works.
Yeah, it really depends on what tool do you use, because there are multiple tools on the market dealing with virtual assistants. Some of them are focused on developers, so they are really like IT oriented. Some of them are oriented for non-technical users, as our product, Feedu platform, and some tools are limited with languages that they support. Usually, like in big languages, English, German. There are even more tools for small European languages, like we focus on. There are less vendors. In our case, the Feedu platform is really focused on non-technical users. So after the short training, almost everyone, of course, after the training is able to use it, can design the chatbots, voice bots, and can easily retrain it because all the data are in one place. You see what the chatbot or voice bot answers correctly, what is not, and if it is something what I really want chatbot or voice bot to learn, I can easily add. So it really depends, and you have to choose the right tool according to your needs and according to your capacity. And if the IT should be involved, or if the business owner is, for example, HR manager or customer service manager or sales or marketing manager, and they need a tool that they can use it easily. But
right.
Great question.
Okay. The next thing I would like to ask you about is benefits. So we mentioned a couple of things, mainly that chatbots are great for automating certain repetitive tasks and for helping employees to get very quickly information, all the things around HR, IT support, etc. And I'm just wondering, is there anything else on top of that? So apart from automating the repetitive tasks and sort of supporting the horizontal communication, so communication, at the peer-to-peer level and cross-departmental communication, are there any possibilities to support also, for instance, top-down or bottom-up communication?
Absolutely. I mean, you could think of also connecting your chatbot with any messaging tool like Slack or Microsoft Teams or Cisco WebEx, and basically be able to push notifications to the users. Though this possibility is available, personally, I'm not a big fan of it, as I can see that in the long terms, the users would be tired of receiving these notifications and they would simply switch it off. So they would not allow to push notifications. That's my opinion. What would happen for that approach, especially if it's used really too much. Yeah, so I think it needs to find also own balance regarding the amount of notifications or communications that you want to push. But definitely that is an option, if you are integrating the chatbot with any of these messaging tools. What I also would suggest could be an alternative, and I'm thinking more about our case. So our chatbot is reachable via web page, which has simple web chat window and a couple of instructions what the chatbot can do. And even in this case, you could create, a space like top news or what's new in the company, and have this kind of also top-down communication. Though in this case, you are not proactively pushing a notification, so you have to wait basically the user to go to that page. But that could also be an alternative, which is, not really too pushy. So I have to say it is possible to do this top-down communication. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but definitely it's possible. But in general, what I think are the benefits of chatbots is, the being there 24/7. That's really important. And you don't have to wait for an answer. Let's imagine you would send an email to a colleague from HR or IT. You have certain amount of hours that you have to wait. So it's very impossible that they would get back to you really quickly. Yeah? So that's one thing. And I see, honestly, because I very often hear like, what is better, like an intranet or a very nice intranet or a chatbot? Yeah. And sometimes I have the feeling that people are thinking they're like one against the other. Yeah, but I think chatbot can actually be a support for intranets. And usually, from my point of view, they go hand in hand. Yeah, because when you have a chatbot, you know that the answer can't be that long, because otherwise the user would not really scroll that down to really find what he or she is looking for. So I think in that case, you could, for example, have a short answer which is linking to the intranets. Yeah. So I think that's also one thing. I would see them like really hand in hand. And the chatbot is really a support also for really finding things which are on the internet. Yeah, so not just giving you an answer, which is the ideal case, you get an answer directly there or on your app or on the browser. But imagine the user wants to know how a certain part of a policy is working, right? Yes, probably policies are usually long, right? So they don't fit in an answer, most probably in a chatbot answer. So you need to link to the intranet. Yeah, but this is already a support. So the user doesn't really have to go and search for that answer in the intranet. And yeah, I personally think for newcomers, for really onboarding them, that's also a very nice advantage, and it can really help them to really get quicker on board. And yeah, that is also what I personally consider as a huge benefit. Yeah, and of course then after the time they are newcomers, they get used to it, and yeah, simply use it.
Right. Wojtek, anything you would like to add?
Just two maybe more things. Like we all love chatting. Actually, on average, each of one of us sends about 67 messages per day. It took us about 5 seconds to send a message, so it's pretty fast. And we spent about 23 hours per week chatting. So the chatting is very popular, and actually the massive boom is just before us. It will be more and more popular. So this is the fact that really like the chatbot is in the line with this new communicational habits that the younger generation started, but now like the fastest growing group of people on Facebook are people 35 plus. So it's not just about the young people anymore. And it's we see it's great, not just in B2C, but also in B2B world. When you look at Brazil or Spain, they use WhatsApp even like for sending invoices, agreements, and so on. So really like the chatting is trend, and chatbots are in the line with this. And I agree with what Michelangelo said. It's not about replacing web portals, intranets, and so on, but we can, through chatbots as a new form of messenger, we can make a center point for any help. And because usually the information are not in big companies, the information are usually not within one place, but something is in intranet, something is in my ATS, something is in my I don't know, Jira and SAP and so on. And the virtual assistant can be integrated with all these systems and knowledge bases, just to ease the access and streamline the conversation. So it's not about replacing, but how to actually ease the way to get information or to help with something.
Actually, also one more point came to my mind. You mentioned like the B2B, right? And we, for example, have another chatbot that is the reference for all our suppliers. And basically our suppliers are negotiating prices with the chatbot. Yeah, so not with a human being, but that's, for example, the bot that we have in our procurement department, and which was launched, I think, two years ago, 2.5. And yeah, it's already generating some saving for us. Yeah. But definitely, that's also something which I honestly, before I jumped into this journey, I was thinking, okay, that's crazy. But actually, it was also through those colleagues which I came into this world. But yeah, it was something I didn't think that, okay, you have a bot negotiating prices with suppliers. So yeah, I think in the B2B, there will always be more and more space for them.
Thank you for that. But let's get back to the use case of a chatbot in internal communications. We've heard about the benefits, and I'm wondering, are there any risks that we should have in mind when thinking about the chatbot? The first thing that came to my mind is, for instance, the human aspect. So it's great that we can automate certain repetitive processes, or we can speed up the onboarding process. But for instance, at the same time, if as a new joiner, it's not about starting a new job, it's also about meeting my new colleagues. So by just interacting with a bot, perhaps someone could feel that, this human element is a bit missing, that I don't have this opportunity to meet my new colleagues. So that's only one thing that came to my mind. Do you see any other risks that, a chatbot could potentially cause?
Well, that's, I think, it's a good risk, and it's a realistic risk. I also think that even within our organization, there are employees who never used the chatbot and rather spoke to a human being. And that I also think it's okay, because it's how humans basically are done. But I see also other two risks. And the first one, it's connected a little bit to the scope, yeah? Because let's say we are going to create an HR chatbot, yeah? But what does it really mean, right? Like, defining the scope within HR, it's maybe not even possible, as you can't predict what the user would ask, yeah, which topics the user would like to get information from. So, and a chatbot, yeah, if he doesn't know the answers, he doesn't have it. He can't go beyond what he's programmed for. So I would suggest that at this stage is important, like how the chatbot is managing this situation, right? When he doesn't have the answer, like, okay, what's happening next? Yeah, so I think this has a huge impact on the user experience, because there are, of course, those users who are trying, a couple of times, and if for them it's not a nice user experience, they will not come back to ask again. Another risk, I would say, it's also on the way, the confusion, yeah, that there is sometimes about chatbots, yeah. It's, I think, a trend, and I see, in our company, it's also getting better, right? But I remember at the beginning, there was a bit of confusion that the chatbot, it's like a Google search, but it's not, basically, yeah. So there were colleagues maybe considering that, yeah, I can type in just a few keywords, I will get the answer, yeah. So that's not the case, right? To a chatbot, you usually have to write or speak as you would be speaking to a human being, right? So clearly saying what you want and not just typing in keywords, yeah. And again, if users don't know how to formulate questions, how to ask, again, they may not receive the answer to what they are looking for. And again, it's a negative user experience, right? So I think what is really important in this case, it's a lot of communication, yeah, a lot of workshops, or really this live demo, how it works, how to ask, and basically educate, I would say, employees, and getting them really close to how to use a chatbot, and also to what are the benefits, yeah. But this said, I would still count that there will always be people preferring the human contact. I mean, I can imagine that, even when we will go back to the office, right, there will be probably a reduction in usage of chatbot because people will have the chance to meet again, and so they would prefer, I don't know, to visit the HR office because it's almost a year and a half that we don't regularly meet, right? But definitely, I mean, during this COVID time, we saw an increase basically of the usage of chatbots. Yeah. So I see these as the risks, but there are risks that you can handle them. It's more about, as I believe, like really educating and guiding people on the how to use chatbots. That's how we did. That's what I personally learned in this journey, and that these would be my suggestions. Yeah, so proper communications, workshops, really guide them and explain to them. Especially to those who are a little bit stubborn, you need to be there and convince them even more. So this would be, I think, my view on the risks and what to do with those risks.
Right. Wojciech, is there anything you'd like to add? Or
just to highlight, it's really not about replacing HR managers, but really like free their hands so they don't have to don't have to reply on the same questions every single day. And it's about the preparation phase. Like you have to really know the problem that you would like to solve, and then decide if the chatbot voicebot is the best option to solve this problem, and then set up the benefits or the value for the company, including ROIs and so on. So it has to have the business value and impact. And on the other hand, like to specify the value for end user, whether it is your customer or employee. So, and if you don't skip this preparation phase and start small, not with a huge project implemented with all your systems and so on, just to start small and measure it and find out if the value is there or not, and if not, just throw it away and start over. And last but not least, to have someone who has already experienced not just successes but failures and can guide you in the beginning, and then you can take it over and build your internal team to scale it and evolve it according to your needs.
All right, so both of you already mentioned the scope, or you just mentioned preparations. So let's make a step back. How to evaluate whether a chatbot is something my organization would benefit from? Like how to even start to think about it, because possibilities are pretty much limitless, it seems. So how to evaluate the scope, how to build a project around it, whom to involve, how to start essentially, and best practices in this area.
Okay, I can maybe share our experience. Well, the trigger of our chatbot was our intranet, yeah, and the fact the search function in the intranet was not really working properly. Okay, we are also changing intranets in a few months, but yeah, it was started by that. There was a lot of complaints, like, okay, we don't find what we are looking for. And also what was mentioned already here a couple of times, that other files are in different systems. So this was the triggering part to say, yes, let's go for it. When it comes to the scope, we knew that HR and IT would be the two main points, because we already had some data from colleagues, and we knew that they are really asked for this type of questions. And most of them are repetitive. Yeah, if we think about, I don't know, benefits, or some HR tools, for example, how it works, this guidance, guidelines, and so on. So we actually started small and having HR, IT, and some general also like topics. And actually, the part which was not that good for us was that we didn't really have many training data for the bot, as we didn't have many samples of those questions, of those topics. So we started really after 2 months with testing. Yeah, so we basically gave these chatbots to this test environment to 20 colleagues, more or less, and we basically said, okay, feel free to ask what comes to your mind, what you think, what you would like to know it. Yeah. And well, this was, I think, really good, because this was really like, wow, because we saw, okay, then users are looking for extension of the scope. So it was not like only HR, IT at that point anymore. And yeah, even within these fields, there was also an increase of the scope. So my suggestion would be to start small, but on the other side, I would suggest at this point, think of using also this design thinking, you know, and techniques, and involve really a lot the users, yeah, because you build a chatbot for them, right? So they know how what they want, right, or what they expect. Yeah, the chatbot to do for them, or which topics. So I think in defining the scope, you would definitely need to count with involving the employees. That would be my suggestion. Yeah. And there was some other part of the question I missed, or?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I just saw Wojciech nodding. And how long and complex is this process? I suspect that the answer will be depends, but any estimation?
Well, if I may, for example, the recruitment chatbot solution can be deployed within 3 weeks. The onboarding solution, because of the integration with, for example, SAP SuccessFactors, that we have, for example, already pre-integrated, but there have to be always done some custom changes. It can be deployed within 3 to 5 months, including the testing on the smaller groups, and then you can scale it if it's okay. So like my suggestion is to start with something that can be implemented within weeks or just number of months, and then scale it. And regarding the, you know, how to find out and how to evaluate, it's really about the internal analysis. You can always draw the big picture as the story that I showed, and then wrap it up and start with your top priorities. And if you usually listen to your employees, and if you are aware about your problems or challenges, I don't have enough people on my HR team, and you know I can't just support all the people, or I would like to be more proactive and to increase the employee experience. I would like to inform them proactively about new benefits, you know, and so on, rather than wait if someone is asking. These points are usually in the beginning, and can be used to, you know, to say what I would like to do, what are the benefits, and what are the solutions that I would like to start with. And eventually you can also look at your competitors and see if 3 from 5 banks are using bots for this. I would like to have also this, because they already did some analysis, and we don't want to be the last one.
Okay, and can you share some insights into how to ensure successful implementation? What are the requirements on the organization's end? What are the success factors? What I have in mind is, for instance, the problem of intranets, something that Michelangelo mentioned. I think that many organizations have this problem of having too many platforms, too many sources of truth, and too many places with duplicated or out of date information. And if a chatbot, you know, is pulling information from somewhere, how to ensure that it gets the right information. So is there anything that should be done on the organization's end before deployment of a chatbot to ensure that it works properly?
I can start. Great question. Really, the preparation has to be there, and you have to. For example, in video we use chatbot and voicebot canvas with all the questions that you have to answer in order to specify problem, use case, value, KPIs. What is the communication style? What is my target group personality? Marketing. What are the technical triggers, like the channels that I would like to deploy the solution on, a type of conversation design that is best for for my use case. Is it just like button interfaces, or will the natural language processing and understanding will be involved, or if the integration is really necessary. And if you do this training, then you can specify like am I okay go with this or not, and do I have the internal capacity or not, and if not, is there any vendor who can help me with this, and if the scope rises, I can always take it over it and do it internally. So usually these questions are very important to be answered in the beginning.
Yes, I fully agree. I would add also one, well, just to add on the last point you mentioned, that I think there is plenty of work done until you launch officially, the chatbot, and you have the, communication and so on. But I think from the launch, it actually starts maybe the hardest part. Because when it's really in production, then you really see and you really get a feedback, on what you created. And I think then it's also the point that you, even though, updating it or adding new topics, it's easy. Yeah, but it of course requires attention and really regular checking on what's going on, what is asked, because I think that's also what the user expects, that yes, today the chatbot doesn't know something, tomorrow it will learn, and tomorrow it will be able to provide me the right answers. Yeah, so from my point of view, to really be successful, you need to also, as I said before, like, first of all, clarify also what are the expectations, what the chatbot can do for you, because then it's also the question, like, some people are expecting maybe that the chatbot would really do some crazy fictional things for them. But I think you need clear expectations, and then of course, keep going with maintenance. These are the two main points that I would say are really, really, really important. And especially the maintenance one, to keep promising and keep the promises as well. So it was just to add on top of that, but with all the rest, I would fully agree.
Exactly. Well, it's like teaching a baby. You have to start with a few words, and then you add a few other phrases, and then eventually the baby can talk to you. So the same with this chatbot voicebot solutions. Really, the implementation part is not the most important one. The maintenance and scaling phase is very important, and also, like, you have to really measure everything. I think that this question was within our chat. You have to really measure the impact, number of conversations. What is the success rate, if it is the question that is answered correctly, or its number of candidates that are successfully pre-selected. What is the conversion or success rate, and measure the funnel. Users that are going through the conversational flow, what are the weak spots, so you can change it according to the data. And it's always also it is also great to have the the comprehensive view on the performance of the chatbot. So into this analytics, chatbot voicebot analytics, you should import some data from your other systems like ATS systems and so on. So you have really the comprehensive view on the solution.
Right. Thank you for addressing Farad's question. I was actually about to ask of the same one. So thank you for taking it. So it seems that we have very last question. We are already running out of time. We have actually already run out of time. So the very last question I can see in the chat box is, am I right that it should be possible to have something to manage all hands organization? I just tell a chatbot, all hands next month, and then it suggests timing that works for all key people, informs IT support, facilities, reminds about logistics steps, send chasers to content providers, and so on.
It can be done.
It can be.
If you teach it, it can be done. We call it transactional dialogues. It's not just about like questions and answers. These kind of conversations are called informational dialogues, and transactional dialogues are going deeper and pulling or putting some data into the or from the system. So it can be designed this way.
And by the way, I see a comment in the chat that people are never checking informations and always turn to a human being to ask. This actually reminds me of one case which happened a couple of months ago. We have been communicating via email a new benefit, and we basically said, okay, if you can come to the office to pick up the card, it's great. Otherwise, we will send it to you via post. And if you want it via post, contact this person. Actually, it was really clear what to do if you want to have it sent via post. And after 10 minutes, there was a question in the chatbot, how to receive it via post. Yeah, so actually the person didn't turn it to a human being, but they turned it to a chatbot. But anyhow, that information was already in the email, right? So it was not checked basically, and then they went to ask. So yeah, I think chatbots are a support, but they will never substitute the curiosity of people to ask human beings. Yeah, that's really funny. And usually everything is in emails, but they don't read it, I think.
Yeah, well, it's very important. Like I have to say this. It's very important to say it's not a human being on the chat. It's a chatbot or voice bot, because the chatbot never answers all the possibilities that employees or customers can ask for. So it's very important to mention this. Hey, I am your virtual buddy, and I can help you out with this. And this is really important. And also to have the possibility to hand over the conversation to a live operator or to a live HR specialist in order to solve something what the chatbot or voicebot cannot handle.
Yeah, that I think is really, really important also when you are setting the expectations. Yeah, because it's also part of defining the scope. Yeah, but there will always be something a chatbot doesn't know, and yeah, that's what people need to be aware of. Yeah, so I think is really important the way you are reacting to these cases, right? And that's also, I think, very, very important part of the whole user experience. Yeah, back to you, Alex.
Well, thank you both very much. We need to wrap up. Do you have any closing remarks or final thoughts? Something you would like to our participants to, take away after the session?
I would say don't be afraid of chatbots if you are, and I think there is plenty of material also online and books to really create chatbots. I'm not a technical person. I'm not doing any coding. I mean, we have a developer for that. but still, I think like there is plenty of cool stuff really to learn about this world. And yeah, so just be curious and try things out, or just contact us if there is any question or any curiosity.
Yeah, the same from me. You can contact me at any time. I can tell you more. And my closing sentence would be about like, please start this year. Otherwise, you will be the last one. It's not the conversational AI. It's not the same story like with Google Glass that all of us should wear already. But really, according to the global statistics from Microsoft, from Gartner, and so on, they really say this is the technology that will remain. And you should really start this year with chatbot and voice bots to be part of the digital automation or transformation, especially during the COVID-19. It's in the line with how the things are now going to be online.
All right, we'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
So once again, thank you very much for all your insights. I think it was a really great conversation. I hope that also it was useful for participants. As the very last thing, I would like to share a short reminder about the upcoming webinar, which will be actually the very last one of the webinar series on communication and technology. And in 2 weeks, we'll be discussing the future of the internal communication profession. And we'll touch on things like how does technology impact the internal comms profession, how the role of internal communication will change with the new tools, and how to impact the ways of working, and how technical should be the internal communication professionals in the future, and what competences will be required in this profession. So please join us in 2 weeks. Otherwise, this is it for today. Once again, thank you very much, Wojciech and Michelangelo. It was really insightful. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.